me. I want to heal, but he never uses my support skills.
You mean your player? So let's talk about him.
Oh, my player. My player who gives every healing artifact to the elves. Who only lets me attack with blades of fire.
Well, I think we're making progress.
Raid Shadow Legends. Play for free now.
How's it going?
How's what going?
The John Hughes scripts. They just jumped off the page. I remember reading 16 Candles in the back of my parents' car, just stretched out on the seat, cracking up.
I owed the IRS $66,000. I was paralyzed with fear when I saw that number. I did not know where to go or what to do. The team at Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill. They really cleared the path for me to have a fresh start, and I will be forever grateful.
For a free consultation, call 800-581-6522.
Optima Tax Relief.
Want to take your X5 to the next level? Now you can with X5 Advantage, giving you enhanced performance and protection. When devices are connected to your home's Wi-Fi, they're protected, helping keep outsiders from getting inside. And if someone tries, we'll let you know. So you can stream, surf, and game all you want. With confidence, you can get coverage where you need it most. That's X5 Advantage. Make your X5 even better. Upgrade today. Call, click, or visit a store.
Border Protection officials say they are now investigating a new report from ProPublica about which uncovered disturbing social media activity on a private Facebook group for Border Protection agents. The posts include jokes about migrant deaths, racist, sexist memes, even sexually explicit comments and memes about Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. After leaving the visit to a detention facility yesterday, the Congresswoman herself described what she witnessed inside as horrifying.
There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet. They were drinking water out of the toilet, and that was them knowing a congressional visit was coming. This is CBP on their best behavior, telling people to drink out of the toilet.
CNN's Nick Valencia is outside a detention site in El Paso, Texas for us right now. Nick, what are you learning about all this today?
Well, this closed Facebook group, Kate, was first reported by the investigative team at ProPublica, and they allege that this group is about 9,500 members of former and current Border Patrol agents, and they claim that they were able to link some of those posts with legitimate Facebook accounts of current Border Patrol agents. At CNN, myself here, I was also able to obtain some screenshots from that Facebook group. And some of the posts, Kate, are just vile. There's no other way to describe them. They make jokes about migrant deaths. You remember that viral photo of Oscar and his daughter Valeria, the 2-year-old girl who drowned crossing the Rio Grande. There was an inference saying that maybe that photo was faked or edited because the bodies looked too clean. And there was also racial derogatory comments towards Latina lawmakers like Veronica Escobar, who represents El Paso District, as well as Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, with the suggestion that demonstrators should throw burritos at them while they visited the facilities here yesterday along the southern border. Now, yesterday, President Trump was also asked about this Facebook group, and this is what he had to say.
I don't know what they're saying about members of Congress. I know that the Border Patrol is not happy with the Democrats in Congress. I will say the Republicans do want border security. The Democrats want open borders. The Border Patrol, they're patriots. They're great people. They love our country.
We should mention that the National Border Patrol Council, as well as the Border Patrol chief, was quick to condemn these comments, saying, quote, that these social media posts related to members of Congress and those encountered by Border Patrol agents are unprofessional, others calling them vile and reprehensible. This is just another damaging allegation against an agency that is already struggling with public perception, Kate.
That's for sure. Nick, thanks so much. Joining me right now, Democratic Congressman Pete Aguilar of California. He was part of the congressional group that visited the detention facility just yesterday. Congressman, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Kate.
So we've heard a few accounts of what was seen inside. What did you see in that facility?
Well, we saw a number of facilities. We saw the Office of Refugee Resettlement, where some teenage young people had been placed. We saw cells where women were placed in prison-like cells where they were sleeping on the floor, 12 to 15 in a cell. Those are just disturbing images. And then we saw unaccompanied minors, a separate facility in Clint where unaccompanied minors were, where a young, probably 3-year-old, tried to pass in a playful way a dry erase board underneath the door. He was playing with other children under the age of 10 in a closed door facility.
The Deputy Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection said today that he is confident in the work of the officers, that the work of the officers and the agents are doing at these facilities. And he was asked to answer specifically to what we heard from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others who say that they were told that from women in one of the facilities that they were told if they were thirsty, they should drink out of the toilet. Here's what he had to say about that. Listen to this, please.
If they raise to us concerns with respect to the manner in which they're being treated, to the access, again, of the fresh water that we have on hand everywhere, of the consumables, the foods, the snacks, the medicines. Now we have a medical capability at an unprecedented level, over 140 medical teams littered throughout the entirety of our southern border. If there are allegations made of misconduct, we take those incredibly seriously. We investigate those and get to the bottom of it. I am very confident in what it is that we are doing by way of caring for these individuals, these incredibly vulnerable populations in our custody, again, in absolutely overly saturated conditions.
He said it was the first time that he's hearing of this allegation of someone being told to drink water from a toilet. What do you say to him?
Well, what I say is go visit the facility. There was a lack of running water in that facility. There was a sink that did not have running water. So these are pretty easy to verify and to check. So I think it's deeply frustrating for us, as you mentioned. The gulf of distrust is pretty evident given the Facebook posts that these individuals have. Some of these women said that they were moved to this cell in the last 24 hours. For those of us who have been there multiple times, they were given Mylar blankets in April, and now they have blankets, which we were asking for months. So these humanitarian conditions need to improve. And just because they're meeting standards doesn't mean that these standards are exactly what they should be. They should be better standards. This is a humanitarian crisis, and we need to treat these people with respect.
You know, we've heard from some of the lawmakers who were in the group with you say that they did not feel safe during your visit. Did you feel the same way?
I heard other members ask about their safety, and I think that is a valid concern, given that we are in these facilities. We are surrounded by Border Patrol, 15 to 20, shadowing our movements, giving us instructions, trying to limit us from taking our phones. This is all behavior that hadn't been done in prior visits for a lot of us who have been to these facilities. So I think that was what was frustrating, especially given that we were there hours after the ProPublica article and public reporting indicating that some of these individuals harbor some very deep-seated racist and vile views towards migrants, but also towards members of Congress.
Did you see border agents taking selfies with you in the background, as I've heard other lawmakers say?
I did, and that was frustrating, but that happened. Someone on staff did take a selfie. We were in a closed facility getting a briefing, and down from what they would call the floor of this prison-like facility, an individual, a staff member, took a selfie with Representative Ocasio-Cortez in the background, and we called them out on it. And I think it shocked the senior brass of the Border Patrol, who clearly understand the lack of goodwill that exists between some of us as members of Congress who have been there multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I wonder, you of course want to know why. And second, if they're snapping photos with their phones, why weren't you able to take your phones in either?
Well, that was the question we were asking. I'm used to classified facilities where everyone leaves their phones and locks them up. That's not what was asked this time. They told us to leave our phones in a room that they controlled, or to leave them with our staff. So some of us did leave our phones with someone else outside of the room for the first visit, but in the second visit, I turned my phone off and took my phone. If they can have their phones, I can have mine.
Congressman, thank you for going to the facility. So they could clear a lot of this up if they would just let reporters in with cameras. I will continue to say, as we ask over and over again. But thank you so much for coming in and giving us your account. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. We'll continue to do our oversight.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Everyone loves a throwback, but I haven't worn that suit in a while. Or those shoes. Luckily, I still have them. Because the clothes that once gave you confidence can help someone get their career back on track. So throw back and donate at Men's Warehouse today.
Let's take a look at some numbers. 4 out of 5 people who have a stroke, their first symptom is a stroke. 80% of all strokes and heart disease, preventable. And $149 is all it takes to get screened and help take control of your health. We're Lifeline Screening. And if you're over 50, call this number to schedule an appointment for 5 painless screenings that go beyond regular checkups. We use ultrasound technology to literally look inside your arteries for plaque, which builds up as you age and increases your risk for stroke and cardiovascular disease. And by getting them through this package, you're saving over 50%. So call today and consider these numbers. For just $149, you'll receive 5 screenings that could reveal what your body isn't telling you.
And I'm going to tell you that's the best $150 I've ever spent in my life.
Lifeline Screening. The power of prevention. Call now to learn more.
My mom hired a bath fitter to make me a new bath. My friend Jimmy said that when he got a new bath, it took forever. Jimmy didn't have to take a bath for a month. I didn't even get to miss one bath. It's just not fair.
Bathfitter will remodel your bath in as little as 1 day. We've got over 2 million satisfied customers and 35 years experience. Call now or visit bathfitter.com for a free in-home consultation.
Here's another reason to join T-Mobile. Do you like Stranger Things? Sure you do. That's why Netflix is on us. And here's another reason to join. Bring in your discount and we'll match it. That's right. T-Mobile will match your discount.
Family Taco Night is a heartburn night you can plan for. But surprise pizza at the office means heartburn you didn't expect. Zantac works when you need it. It relieves or prevents heartburn in as little as 30 minutes and lasts up to 12 hours. Zantac. Eat your way, treat your way.
Carvana is 6 years old this year and is the fastest growing place to buy a car in the nation. It's because we have thousands of people working hard to make our customers' experiences the best. It's because we have tens of thousands of cars ready to be delivered to your doorstep. And it's why hundreds of thousands of happy customers have ditched the dealership and bought their car online, earning us an average 4.7 stars in the process. So if you didn't know about us before, you do now. We're Carvana, and we want to give you the car buying experience you deserve.
My experience with USA Air has been excellent. They really appreciate the military family, and it really shows.
With all that USAA offers, why go with anybody else? We know their rates are good. We know that they're always going to take care of us.
It was an instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
It was funny because when we would call another insurance company, they would say, oh, we can't be USAA.
We're the Weber family.
We're the Tennies.
We're the Hells, and we're USAA members for life.
Get your USAA auto insurance quote today.
Thanks, Golden Corral. Dan gets a slow smoked sirloin, and my little trio are as happy as shrimp. Oops, clams. And Mom got it all. Hook, line, and sirloin. The slow smoked sirloin and shrimp trio. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Here's your Buick, sir. Actually, that's my Buick.
Your Buick doesn't have a roof rack. This is my Buick. How are we gonna fit in your mom's Buick?
Easy.
I like that new Buick.
Me too.
I was actually talking about that Buick.
I knew that.
Did you?
Buick's fresh new lineup is full of surprises. During Buick's 4th of July sales event, pay no interest for 76 months on most 2019 Buick models.
When I book at Hilton.com, I get to select my room from the floor plan, free Wi-Fi, and the price match guarantee.
So with Hilton, there is no catch.
Yeah, the only catch is I'm never leaving. No, I'm serious. I live here now. Book at Hilton.com and get the Hilton price match guarantee.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
Mesothelioma is all we do. For over 10 years, we have offered a free book on mesothelioma. Call 1-800-259-9374.
This just into CNN. The House Ways and Means Committee, the committee in charge of tax laws in this country, is now taking the IRS and the Treasury Department to court, suing them in the ongoing fight to gain access to President Trump's tax returns. This is a very big step in this ongoing battle. CNN's Lauren Fox has the breaking details. She's joining me right now. Lauren, what are you hearing?
Well, this has been months in the making. You know, Richard Neal, the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, initially asked for the president's tax returns, 6 years of personal and business returns in April. Then, of course, he had a subpoena in May. And just now, the House Ways and Means Committee will sue the IRS, the Treasury Department, and their respective leaders, Steve Mnuchin and Charles Rettig, for the information. But, of course, we expect this to be a prolonged court battle. This has been months in the making. You know, when I talked to Richard Neal back in November after the election, he said this is exactly where we would be, that this would be headed to court. He never expected the Treasury Department to turn over the president's tax information. But I just want to read from the court filing just one brief quote. It says, the defendants have mounted an extraordinary attack on the authority of Congress to obtain info needed to conduct oversight. And of course, this fits into a broader narrative that we're seeing with House Democrats trying to get information from the Trump administration and trying to dig into the president's own finances. We've already seen cases where Democrats have tried to get financial information from accounting firms and banks that the president has used, and those cases have already gone to court. So, you know, a broader spectrum here with Democrats trying to get more information about the president's finances, but of course a big step in this case for the president's tax returns. Kate?
Absolutely, Lauren. A very big step in this ongoing battle. And now it heads to the federal courts. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep our eye on that breaking news. But there is other breaking news that cannot be ignored that we will turn our attention to overseas. The death toll in Syria is rising as the leaders of 11 humanitarian organizations are now issuing an urgent warning. They say the northwestern province of Idlib is, quote, on the brink of a humanitarian nightmare unlike anything we have seen this century. Just let that sink in. I know this war has been going on for years, but listen to what they are saying. It is on the brink of a humanitarian nightmare unlike anything we have seen this century. You cannot turn away from this. CNN senior international correspondent Arwa Damon is joining us now from a makeshift camp in northwestern Syria where families have fled. Arwa, what are you seeing and hearing there?
Yeah, Kate, let me just try to describe why it is that organizations are describing it like that. The families you see around us, these are the families who have just arrived in the last few months. They have been living like this for months. There are, according to the estimates of some NGOs, 1 in 3 women are either pregnant or breastfeeding and are unable to properly nurture their children. The reason why this is a dire humanitarian crisis is one of the many reasons why people are having to live like this. And look, 2 months, remember, these are sheets strung around an olive tree. This is what they're having to use as a tent because the main camps here are completely full and they stretch for miles, these main camps. They become permanent structures. They just don't have tents. They can't absorb a larger population. And what's happening is, especially on the southern part of the province, you have this very intense bombing campaign. Look, we were down there. It's terrifying. There are fighter jets in the skies at almost all times. Hospitals are being bombed. People's livelihoods